Welcome to the Encore Audio Archives YouTube channel. I'm Taper Dave, and this is my channel. I've uploaded hundreds of talks here that I've recorded at meetings in West LA, and I've also recorded conventions starting in 2013. I've got a bunch of those up. And Walt and Mary Murray, the original owners of Encore Audio Archives, started the company in the 80s, and Walt recorded Joe and Charlie's and a bunch of stuff down in Vista, California. My sobriety date is June 20th of 1994. I hope you find something you like, so please like and subscribe to my channel and comment down below. If you want to hear something that I don't have or that you don't see, I'll see that I get it. Anyways, take care and have a great day if you want to.
Now it's time to introduce our main speaker, Bird.
Wow, 8:45. Hi guys, my name's Bert. I'm a drug addict and an alcoholic. Sober today by the grace of God, the principles of Alcoholics Anonymous. The love and prayers of a lot of friends and a lot of family members and a lot of overdoses and a lot of 12-step calls. Thank you, Alan, for having me come here tonight. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you for the generosity of the very far-reaching patience that Alcoholics Anonymous has had with a girl like me. Welcome to the newcomer. Happy birthday to the birthday people. Happy birthday, Brent. Wow. It's good to be here. I really love that some friends showed up for me tonight, and you guys give me strength like spinach, you know. You give me strength like spinach. I have a lot of history here, made a lot of mistakes here. I've been messy here. I came here, and I came here again, 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 and I came here again. I came here high. I shot dope in the bathrooms. I sponsored people while I was nodding out. You know, you slept with my boyfriend. I sold you stolen goods to get even. You know, this was my mending repair program before I got to you guys and got some system of healing that's provided in the steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, which activate a change of mind so that I can expand, unite, get intimate with the world. Everything that kind of alcohol gave me in the beginning, I'm one of those people that love alcohol. I love Alcoholics Anonymous, but I love alcohol. And my story has a lot of drugs in it. I know it's like somebody said to me the other day, isn't saying drug addict and alcoholic like saying you're from Studio City, Los Angeles or something? I don't know what it was, but I thought I have to really say that because I have a real big heroin addiction story and a lot of other drug stories. And I'm hot and I'm nervous. And I'm glad to be alive. Okay. My problem today, I just celebrated last month 20 years of sobriety. Thank God for Alcoholics Anonymous. And I don't mean that's whatever. I don't say whatever very often in my life. I think that's solid ground. I know that I've been to a lot of memorials of people that drank after this amount of time. I have held them in my arms. I have spoken at their memorials. So there's that. But if you're new, there is something provided here for you that is bigger than your understanding at this point. I had to be willing to get that I was off the mark, that maybe I wasn't right, that maybe I didn't, that maybe the problem lied in my thinking and the solution lied in my thinking. This is about treatment of thinking here. You know, because I'd like to say that we can treat your circumstances, but what we can do is help you treat your thinking so that you shift your position in life, so that you can change your mind, so that the solution, which was drugs and alcohol, and I personally love the effects produced by alcohol. That's why I kept drinking, and I drank hard, and then I added to that, and it did its job well for me. Chemical peace worked really, really well for me. I need it, I like it, I appreciate it, and then it stopped working. It's like a rubber band that was like stretched way too far out, and it could never get back there, you know. I couldn't stop anyway. There was no relief. There was no unity. There was nothing sexy about it anymore at all. I was a wet, limp animal on the ground looking up at you, or the paramedics most of the time. And I don't have like a very romantic story like, people have. And whatever your story is, I don't care what your bottom looks like. If your soul is cracked in half and your life's not working and you can't stop drinking anyway, and you have a problem somehow with giving the outside world the job to give you your inside security and self-esteem, and it stopped working and they don't want it, and you feel like you're dying of loneliness, or whatever your stuff is, whatever your recipe is, welcome to Alcoholics Anonymous. This is a program that I have not been able to outgrow personally. Working the steps activates within me a program of principle that become a working part of my mind so that I can get with you, so that you can be exactly who you are, and I can be okay, and I can be smooth. This is good news, because I thought I was going to come here and just keep healing, and my story needed a lot of healing. I don't know what your story is, but my story is that I drank and I used, and I went to 17 different schools, and my father was schizophrenic, and it's confusing. And my mother laid in bed about it, and I have 2 sisters that have died, and I have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 heartbreaks and all of that stuff. But this is good. The good news is that this is life, and my life didn't stop. It started. I didn't get a life back. I recreated. I get to partner up here. I get some power back here. I know it's like we're supposed to be, my dilemma is lack of power. My dilemma is I'm less powerful than alcohol and drugs. That was the solution. This is not an anti-alcohol program. The solution was drugs and alcohol. They soothed me. They soothed my wounds. They got me with you. They made me like you. They unified me. They got me to be able to get up off the floor, And then I was addicted. And then I had chemical reaction. And then the warm velvet going down, drinking the whiskey in the morning turned out to be, shakes and itches and needles in broken veins and overdoses and, whatever. You're ad infinitum. It's not everybody's story. That's mine. I always wish I had somebody else's story that I somehow, I don't know, I took a drink and ended up in Rio with this rich man, and my family loved me, and I'm having a hard time tonight. I'm having a hard time tonight getting with it, but I'm having a good life today. I'm having a very, very good life today. I'm having a big life. I'm having a real life. I'm having a life with a teenager. I have a mended life with the father of my teenager. I have a sponsor that saw me take my 30th 30-day chip. Welcome to the returnees. 30 days, 30 times or something, right? And they were all lies, because otherwise I'd be 150 years old if I kept taking 30-day chips. But I just kept I don't know. And my friend Jeff said he'd say, "Are you clean today, baby?" And I'd say, "Well, kind of, sort of, almost." And they'd say, "Oh, come in. Come in, because you don't have to come here and have a good attitude and be all cheery and want what we have. Because what the fuck is it that we have? We name your disease and then we walk away from you. No, we don't have to do that, really. It's like, you've got something, now you can name it, so now we know we're not crazy. Left untreated, this is certainly a mental illness. This is certainly a mental illness left untreated. And it's progressive, and it's tricky, and it's clever, and it's seductive, Kicked me to the curb and then wrapped me up in cotton. And then stabbed me in the heart and then spun me in silk. And kept luring me in, tricking me, and we're smart, This is not about, willpower or moral issue, My moral compass had nothing to do with the rationalization that I had to put myself through. The one thing more clever, thank God, than my alcoholism, my active alcoholism, my denial of it, is a power from me greater than myself. So my adherence to facts in step 1, my problem, less powerful than alcohol, is Lots of those years before I got here. All those years that I drank and used every minute all the time. Less powerful, adherence to facts. It doesn't work. I'm here personally because drugs and alcohol don't work. They don't do the job. That's why I'm here. I have to remember that when I get thirsty, when I get my feelings hurt, when I get a resentment, and I back up and the helium drops and I go like this and you guys bug me and it all seems like some self-help, selfish, weird fucking, there's people starving in the world, get over yourself. This is where I go, this is where I go. So I'm one more person with an unoriginal separation that has a better than, less than, whatever your common way of something. If you're new, we have something in common. We have a disease called alcoholism, if in fact you believe in your innermost self that you have that there is treatment for. There is a solution. It's outside the problem. It's in a different place. It's activated in the steps. They don't just say, this is what you have, and then walk away, and you're like left there shaking. They say, and you can't do it alone, but we can't do it for you. Here you go. Here's a big book. The message does not stay alive if it's not transmitted. It goes flatline. It doesn't stay alive. It doesn't matter. I sponsor a lot of people. There's a couple of them here. I can say green, 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 green till I'm blue in the face, and they hear blue, 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 and then 10 years down the line, they come to you and they go, you wouldn't believe, I went to Malibu at this meeting and I heard green, Like, I know, I've been fucking saying that for 10 years, you know what I mean? But whatever. So guess what? It's my 12-step call. It's my responsibility, not my credit. It's my 12-step call. It stays alive within me. Whatever you're doing, let it be good enough for you if it's good. Let it be good enough for me if it's good enough for you. My responsibility, which comes down further in the steps, adherence to facts, acceptance, lack of power, less powerful than alcohol and drugs. That's all it's saying. It's not saying you don't have nothing to do anymore. I'm saying let's partner up. Let's partner up with the power greater than myself that has a bigger view of you. What kind of God I have, his eyes are too pure to see me as a mistake. Doesn't even see like that. The most selfish thing that I had going on for me was that I didn't even think I existed when I got here. I was junkie down. I didn't think I existed or counted or had anything to do with your pain. I thought that my actions stopped when I left the room. I thought they disappeared. I thought they dissolved. And you were left with my actions and I'm out there out the door, after I take your cash on the way out, I got responsible here to see that we have like an interrelated deal going on. That I go to bed certainly with my actions, yours aren't mine, but I have something to do with the planet here. And so if I don't stay sober today because my personal experiences is that I didn't stay here, didn't come back here because you guys loved me. I came back here because I started loving you guys. What happens is cellularly I feel when I start caring and loving. It softens me up. It relaxes me. It starts making me feel with you instead of away from you. Lack of power is my dilemma. The next step right after that, boom, solution. So we've named our problem, and then they name our solution. Came to believe that a power greater than myself, that means something with a bigger view, a more expanded, bigger view than I can come up with, bigger than my human understanding. I have a constricted and small, little, constricted small view of myself and the people in my life and the world when I got here. And it was just from here to here, so that I got to come to believe in a power greater than myself could restore me to sanity, which means sound of mind, which means right-sizedness, which means fluid, which means here, which means it's not just get to a healing. It means the healing starts to get got and then life begins. I've had a lot of healings in a lot of ways, faced up with a lot of my demons, with my incest, with my family dying, with my being broke, with being in love, with having your heart cracked in half, with all that stuff, face up. And what I wanted from the drugs and alcohol was freedom of the bondage of self, I believe. And what I get from Alcoholics Anonymous is freedom from the bondage of self. If you're as seriously as alcoholic as I am, I believe there's no middle-of-the-road solution. I got to treat this thing with alcohol and drugs or with, they say the spiritual side of the program. I don't know what the other side is. I didn't think there were two sides. I think that spirituality to me means to lighten up.
Sorry to interrupt your viewing. Taper Dave here. Just wanted to take a second to ask you to like and subscribe to my channel. Let me know if you like what you're listening. I've got some very good talks here, and this one's a great one. Just curious, do you think this is better than Zoom? Tell me what you think.
You know, what do they think about me? They're not. They're thinking about themselves. This is the good news. You know what I mean? And to lighten up, to get unvelcroed from the heaviness of our view, you know, our separation. Problem is separation. So what's the solution? Unity. Boom. Across the board, all the time, all day long. You know. Came to believe. So then I could make a decision, because I made 1,000,000 decisions to stop drinking, and I meant every single one of them. I meant sorry every single time I said it. I meant sorry every single time I said it. Made a decision. Ended up going from setting alarm clocks around my room in the Hollywood Hills in our house so that I wouldn't be so sick anymore. I'd wake up every three hours, like all these things. I love that guy that took the last cake. I would do a line, and we would call ourselves clean. This is like the clean days. The clean days are when you only do cocaine all day long and take Quaaludes and drink whiskey in the morning. That's my clean time. And because I wasn't using needles, but I would do a line and then lie down and look at the clock, and I'd have to like get up and go waitress at a French restaurant, and it'd be like, okay, I have 2 hours, okay, I have an hour and a half, okay, I have an hour, okay, I have to get up in 30 minutes, okay, I have to get up in 40 minutes, and I keep doing lines and then lying down so I could saying, so I started, you know, doing dope again so I could get a little rest for the weary, you know, and I would set alarm clocks around so I wouldn't be so sick when I would wake up any longer. You know what I mean? We're just it's what we're willing to do. And then pretty soon I was like, boom, out of a house and living in a vacant house. And I had this old Nova car that I took downtown because I was really sick all the time. I'm the girl that had the flu all the time, had the flu. And couldn't wear short sleeves. That's how I found my sponsor. And I sold my last car for $200 so I could cop and get high for 20 minutes. 20 minutes. And you know, you don't do things like transfer papers or anything like that. So forever I kept getting tickets from this car. I'm like, who is this guy downtown with a... And I started seeing that, like, now I'm standing there like a deer in headlights. I'm sick, I'm downtown, I have no car, I have no money, I have no family that will talk to me. My boyfriend, I was too sick, my French boyfriend, we lived together in the vacant house. I put him on a plane to Amsterdam. I was too sick to get on the plane. I was too sick to leave the airport. I couldn't get on the plane and I couldn't leave the airport. These are the moments, these are my personal moments, not the big ones when you're like handcuffed and it's obvious, but the you know what I mean? But and when they're shaking their head and they're like, you know, AA 12-step me, I'd go to their house and like, here, they'd plant me down. Do something with her, tell her something, you know, people. And I'd be like, oh God, it's really nice. Thank you, God, your life sounds really, I'm good. Can I use your bathroom? Boom, paramedics above me one more time, waking me up. I'm here because drugs and alcohol don't work anymore. And so I made a decision to turn my will and my life over to work a program. That means to work the program of action outlined in the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. There is a system of healing here that works for alcoholism that you can't outgrow. How about that? That addresses everything. Page 45 said, the main purpose of this book is to enable you to find a power greater than yourself that will solve your problems. There's an S at the end. Boom. Solve your problems. This is a really big thing to say, and we're like, well, I don't know. I don't really feel like, you know, I'm not in the mood to, you know, I'll just like demolish everybody in my life all the time and just, you know, I'm not in the mood. So I made a decision to work so I could get to step 4, so I could get some of that like resin and that pain and those razor blades cleared out of my body, out of my mind, out of my history, so I could stop, my future didn't look like my history any longer after I started writing the 4-step, right? You know, because I know the cause. I talk about it at bars, I call my friends about it, cause. I'm pissed off at him because, you know, fill in the blank. I'm hurt by him because. And we're not talking about the kid things. We're not talking about when I was suffocated and punched in the mouth and, you know, we're not, what's the part in that? I'm not here to to get responsible for the event. I'm here to get responsible for the resentment. I want to get free from the absolute power your actions have over me. I want to get free. That's what I want. And that's what Alcoholics Anonymous gives me. So I can get to the fourth column and see just where I had been character defecting all my life, and now I'm going to start to character build. By finding the fourth column to see where did Bird try to give myself. I'm always here trying to really kind of relieve and give and keep my back up against the wall so I don't get caught off guard and all that stuff. We're always trying to work it out. I know we're saying, oh, we just don't think about ourselves. We're thinking about ourselves all the time. I'm trying to work it out to protect myself from being hurt all the time. So my fourth step has a fourth column, which is my protection program, which is the control program. They say we're perfectionists. I don't think so. I think I'm just a control freak because I'm trying to protect myself from you because I've given you the power over my self-esteem, security, right, personal, sexual relationships, and ambition. You don't want it for me and I don't want it for you. But I've given it to you and I'm pissed because you're walking away with it and you're not doing a good job. So I have my fourth. How did I start this off? I got to get my part. How did I start this off? And you know what the deal is I get to get free because I get to get my power back. I'm pissed at you because you have my power. I'm Velcroed to you because I'm not free of you. And then you have to be a certain way for me to be okay. And then again, I'm pissed. And I can't say I'm pissed, not where I come from. I have a schizophrenic father. He takes the lead. So I have to be quiet. I have to be a tamed animal. I have to be a heroin addict. So whatever your deal is, I don't know, maybe your life of the party that jumps on top of the bar. Whatever your thing is, I wasn't the jump on top of the bar chick. So I have a fourth step, just kind of laying it out for Eric, the newcomer, so that I could get with the fifth step, so I could get it out of my head and away from me knowing the solution on the 405, so I could share it with God and another human being, so I could see where I was trying to give myself my security, self-esteem, right? On and on and on. How was I trying to do that? It went awry. It didn't work anymore. It was out of balance. All pain is lack of balance. Physical, emotional, mental, psychic. It's all lack of balance. So I have the sixth step. So I get to see my shortcomings. Where am I short up? I'm short up on patience. I'm short up on, I'm short up. Character, I'm ready. My job is to be willing for God to remove my character. That's my job, to get ready. So what does that mean? It usually means I have a lot of hard life to live so that I can get sick enough of my way so that I can get out of the way. Because we're strong-minded, strong like spinach. So that I can have a moment so that I can care enough about the relationships in my life so that I can start repairing them. 8th step, I thought, how am I going to ever repair all this damage now that I see that I'm alive and have a part? And I went, by the time I was 4 months clean this time, I married an English guy. I got on a plane without him and went to Spain to say I'm sorry. I had a relationship for a long time with a man and woman that kept me high, and I kept their marriage together. They kept me high, I kept them high. And I went to Spain right away to say I'm sorry, to get the guilt off the back. I was the one with the parole officer saying, I don't know, if she would just have an emotion or something or something. In school, counselors would say, I don't know, she doesn't cry, she doesn't do anything, she doesn't seem to care. And I started caring, and I started to want to get that weight off my back, but I didn't. I went from 1 to 9. I didn't do anything in between. And I went to Spain, and 2 weeks turned into 6 months, and of course, I fell in love with somebody else, and perfect world, perfect world, perfect world. I wanted to be all my life, in a country outside of my head, rain, cobblestones, castle, Latin guy, perfect. Pepe, right? It's so funny. Later he comes to America, he's like 5'2", he smokes pot. I'm like, what happened? Okay, but it lasted for 6 months. I have a nervous breakdown. It didn't feel like a nervous breakthrough to me. That's what they said. Had a nervous breakdown, got sick of mind. Mental illness left untreated. And we went to Villalba, Spain to take a little break. And my second, this is my came to believe story really quick. I'm hopping around. I cannot wait till the clock goes. And And I go to the pub and I pray like I had never prayed before, except for all the billions of times when I was just trying to sweat it out and make deals. But I said, I can't do this. And I knew the vibration in my body was so strong that I knew the feeling I was going to get high again. There's no way I can live on this planet without treating my disease. I don't have that ability. I'm not that kind of white-knuckled person. I don't have like success in the outside world, so I got too busy to notice that I had a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body going on. You know, I have it and I have it big. And I don't have a lot of the other stuff. I'm not depressive, I'm not suicidal and all that stuff. I am all that stuff sometimes because I'm human. But I got to go in this bathroom and I said, God, help me, carry me, do something. I can't do this. I don't know what to do. I can't do this. And I knew I was going to go out. I said, I'm going to count to 10. And then I'm going to have to order a drink, find the guy, find the man. We can find him anywhere, anytime. 5 seconds takes me. And I sat down next to Pepe, and he doesn't know what's going on. He's smoking pot. He's 5'2". What does he care? He's like, well, whatever. It's a wild chick. He doesn't speak English. I don't speak Spanish. It's like fabulous. And I sat down, and I got to 3, and I counted 1, 2, 3. I know it's just going to hop up and go get high. And I got to 3, and 3 Americans from Alcoholics Anonymous walk around the corner in Villalba, Spain, and scream my name and say, Bird, what are you doing here? Can you fucking imagine in Villalba, Spain? I'm like, what the fuck? First of all, what a drag. Now I can't get high. It's the first thing I think of. It's like these big, obvious, glaring things. You know, the thing is that it's like, oh, you know, miracles happen. Miracles are happening all the time, every second, all the time. You don't earn them. They're not for some people. This isn't Vegas. I didn't get a good hand. You had a bad hand. Good day, bad day. You know, they're happening every single second, all the time. Check it out. Your heart's beating. You know, all the things are happening all the time. I got to step into it. I got a responsibility to get with it, not to like have it happen to me. You know, so 3 Americans that I know from Alcoholics Anonymous are in Villalba, Spain. Now the gig is up. Now I get that. Maybe I'm not like, I always knew that there was a power greater than myself. It was whiskey, it was heroin, it was all that stuff, and I knew there was a God. I didn't have a problem with that. If you do, it doesn't matter. Stay anyway. Whatever. Really. But to me, I don't get all the, like, how this whole world is working and what the purpose is if there's not some kind of bigger order, or it's, like, so obvious to me, and I'm glad about that. But I see it all the time. I see it in our son's eyes. I see it touchdown, no touchdown, you know. I was pregnant in these rooms, you know, and now our son is 6 foot tall and teenager, and it's like, work the steps all you want and then have a teenager and then see how good the steps do. You know, I'm kidding. Oh God. It's like prepares you for everything except for raising a teenager. So boom, I got that. I didn't have to get it, didn't have to understand, bigger than my human understanding. I surrendered something outside my current information, something bigger than my small idea of why and where and how. And I let go, and I got with you guys. And I came back to America and started going to meetings, working with other alcoholics, working the steps. You know, when I was 1 day clean, and when I was 1 year clean, and when I was 10 years clean and sober, I should say sober, and my, you know, broken hearts, business, life, finances, deaths, illnesses, health challenges, all that stuff. Every single time they'd say, oh, sit up front, work with a newcomer, read the book, work the steps, prayer and meditation. Sit up front, work with the newcomer, read the books. It's the same solution, you know. It's the same solution over and over and over, because it expands as I expand. My understanding of God keeps growing, so my experience of life keeps growing, keeps expanding, keeps getting bigger. That's how I want it. I want to relax. I don't want to be bitter. I don't want to have it be the same old, same old. You will never hear me say that. You will never hear me say that. So I got to go through these steps and get to the repair thing. So how am I going to apologize to all these people? You know, and I had opened a new store in La Brea, remember? And in one day, I had got on my knees and I said, okay, I'm just going to pray. I'm just going to pray for the willingness. Because how can you find these people that are in, you know, different parts of the world, and one in prison, that boyfriend who I loved, who held guns to my head, and all of that. Ended up, I didn't see him again. He got on that plane and got busted, and he went to prison for 6 years, and that was my last goodbye to the love of my life. And, you know, all of these, like, these things were shutting down, and I thought like all the shutters of my life were shutting down, the doors were closing, it was going to get dark pretty soon. It was shutting down to leave me here, drop me off here with you guys at the perfect moment. The result of working the steps is I get to live life present in the moment. Hopefully that's the result. I get to live right here, right now, in the moment. It's enough. I'm not greedy. I'm not snobby. I'm not complaining. You are enough the way you are, because I don't need you to be any particular way for me to feel free inside and have a good time. Isn't that nice? So in one day, after I said that prayer, I'm in my store at the time, and in one day, a different boyfriend who was in prison, different boyfriend, got out, I guess, and walked in and said, hey, we heard you had a store. I heard you had a store. I want to come and say, hey, I'm out. And I got to make amends to him. 45 minutes later, that couple that I demolished their life and made it even worse when I went to Spain, because I doubled up on the problem, came from Spain and said, hey, we heard you had a store. We wanted to come in here and see how you were doing and see if you were clean and if you were alive. And I was the kind of person that they'd run into at a club and they'd say, oh my God, we thought you were dead. We heard you were dead. That's what Santiago told me. Oh my God, So, and then 45 minutes later or whatever, another relationship came walking in the door and said, hey, I heard about your new store. We saw you in the picture. I wanted to see if you were okay. I got to walk all these people in one day down the alley and repair my part. Not get responsible for yours, not wait for you to say, oh, me too, but say, God, because I used to say I'm sorry like it was water through my fingers just to get you off my back. I'm really sorry, but do you have any money? I'll pay you back tomorrow. So I started to get current, got to take my history off and leave it over there and get responsible. This is what happens in steps. Get responsible. So I can have the ability to respond in the moment that I'm in. And then we have 10, 11, and 12. I get to get current, stay with myself, stay on my side of the street, do step 10, so I can do step 11, which is your personal way of seeking, holding, getting, growing. I have a certain kind of meditation that I do every day. I don't do anything every day, but I try to do that every day. I pray for a big experience, for a better experience, to be of service, to get off my small view. I pray and meditate so that whatever your thing is, my thing is running with my spotted dog in the morning and Kundalini yoga, whatever your thing is in prayer and meditation, so that I can transmit the message in 12, so it can stay alive within me. I don't know if it's going to stay alive with you. I have loved people. They have slept on my couch. I have, we have gotten them into numerous hospitals. I have done all that. I love all that. I sponsor tons of girls, and then you drive up to a gas station pump and you get out of your car and you go put gas, and the girl runs out the back seat and gets through the bathroom window of the gas station and gets high. And you think, oh, of course you did. I love that. But guess who didn't? I didn't. So yeah, we're here for me, us. I'm here for me, us. I'm here for Boston Powers, my teenager. Most of the time, I try to raise the bar a little higher for him, to be an example. Not because I'm in the mood or I think that it's best or, most of the time, the value comes from me loving you guys, because I don't really feel you loving me. It's not that I don't believe it. I'm the kind of girl that has so much love, it's fucking overwhelming to me. And I go to bed a lot thinking, I'm unloved. I'm not enough. You know what I mean? Whew. Clamps down on my head at night like that. And I think of Boston Powers, even when he slams the bathroom door. And I say, I will do anything for you. I will take and have taken so many bullets for you and walk on fire for you. And it's good to have that, because me loving somebody like that keeps my cells open, keeps me healthy, keeps me free. I am so glad to be a member of Alcoholics Anonymous. I am so glad this is over. And that's it. Thank you.
I think we got a great talk going on here. Thanks for watching the channel. Taper Dave here. Just curious, do you think this is better than Zoom? Okay, this is how I prepare my drone for launching. I like to do it inside the cab of my truck so I'm not standing outside in the weather. To install the joysticks for control, up and down, right and left, powered on. I have an Android phone that I use to connect it to the drone with. And it's actually controlled through the iPhone, through an app. Oops, wrong way. It's actually controlled through the iPhone, or through this Android phone, through the app. It's actually controlled through the Android phone, through an app, and you connect it through this short connection right here.
Remote control connected.
Remote control's connected. So I pull out the drone. I have to extend the legs. Long legs extended first, then the short legs. Remove the gimbal protector. Set that aside, then power it on one short burst, then one long burst. I lay it down. So I have to go to calibrate. So the drone's not connected yet. It shows you here as this drone gets disconnected, even though the remote's powered on. So the drone has to establish it's connected. So I go into the app to calibration mode. First I'll calibrate the remote controller. Start calibration. Out, in, out, in, up, down, and then this little wheel is to control the gimbal. So it's calibrated. Go to gimbal calibration, start calibration, and then it calibrates the gimbal. I don't know if that shows up. The gimbal's moving all over the place. Changes, you can see it on the video. And I'm calibrated to take off. It's acquired 7 satellites at the moment. There are 26 satellites up in the sky, which it has to acquire before you can take off. So it's connected. It's got enough satellites. This is white. I can go to press this little arrow button, swipe right to take off, and it would start the motors if I slid this to the right. But I'll wait till I get outside. Don't want to do it inside.